Hi, I'm Eric.
And I'm JJ.
She's my wife.
He's my husband.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. So today I want to talk about a mindset shift that was the first step before keto or carnivore or low carb or any of those distinctions even mattered. And this was something that I think we both got to close to the same time in our life. Not exactly. You disagree already.
By close to the same time, do you mean like, I don't know, 14, 15 years apart?
That's exactly what I mean.
All right. Then yes, it was very close. I think you mean around diet. We came to this around.
Yeah, around diet.
Yes, that's true.
Not around just life, although it is about life. So this distinction was extremely important for me in getting out of an old pattern. And I'm going to tell you what the distinction is, and then I'm going to tell you what the old pattern was. And it was understanding acceptance, because she used to talk about it 14 years before. And all I heard her say when she said acceptance was
giving up.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know, I am a life coach by profession. And when I started training to be a life coach 15 years ago, actually I was certified, so even longer than that, I brought up this idea of acceptance. Now, I am a recovering perfectionist. He helps me with that sometimes, reminding me I can do B work instead of A work.
Yep, sometimes.
And when I learned about acceptance, it was absolutely shifting my life. It shifted my life completely. It was a complete mindset shift, because I was always raised that, what?
I could not accept acceptance.
He did not accept acceptance. Again, he thought it was giving up. And back then I really had a hard time verbalizing what the difference is between accepting and giving up. And I remember we went around and around about this. And I think it's a subtle difference. It's hard to really understand until you get there.
Yeah.
But the best I can do to sort of verbalize it is say that acceptance is actually a powerful, proactive move. Giving up is defeatist. You're throwing in the towel. It's very passive.
Mm-hmm.
And acceptance allows you to look at what you can actually control in your life and what you can't control, and then focus on what you can do.
So when it comes to the top of our channel, which is low carb, keto, carnivore,
Proper human
diet, how does this relate?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I finally decided to make the move to full carnivore, it really required me to break my old pattern of not giving up, but it certainly was not anywhere near in the ballpark of acceptance. It was absolute, total self-berating.
Mm-hmm.
And then I deserve to be deprived of all the things I like as punishment. And then a period of time of deprivation and just brutal workouts to sort of beat myself for past...
Wearing the hair shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that would propel me, that anger at myself would propel me for a month, 2 months, but it wasn't a strong routine. It didn't have a good foundation, because it was driven entirely by my will and my anger at myself. But the thing is that it kind of worked. So I would lose weight and I would start to look better, maybe have a little more energy. And then I would start to feel, hey, I'm doing well. And then the very first slightest external interruption to that routine was trip or some sort of birthday celebration. Getting sick, getting injured, which almost invariably happened the way that I was punishing myself through exercise, would then put me in a state where the old patterns would just come right back in. Now, how did acceptance change this whole pattern?
And you know what? I didn't even say I told you so.
No, we don't have that kind of relationship.
No, but tell. Do tell.
So it always involves, I think, a certain moment. It's kind of a dark moment of the soul where you're like, here I am again.
Mm-hmm.
I have fallen into the same old pattern, and yet I've gotten to this point. And that is a critical point where giving up suddenly becomes kind of like an option. It's like, well, you know what? That's just the way I am. Or I could see in a different circumstances, given my circumstances, I'm a victim to all of these external things. I'm helpless against it. Either way, whether it's blame or shame or some sort of victim thing, it is totally disempowering. So, but acceptance wasn't an obvious move to make at all.
Because it looks like you might be giving up.
Until I kind of did it by mistake. And what happens, I think, is sort of you get to a point where you're like, well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I've done it all. I've done it over and over again. And here I am again. And there is a certain kind of a surrender, but it's not a giving up kind of energy.
Mm-mm.
And what happened for me anyway was, let me just look at the state of where I'm at right now. I have IBS, acid reflux, obvious metabolic syndrome with high blood sugar, elevating high blood sugar, not quite diabetes, high, did I say blood pressure?
Mm-hmm.
And fasting insulin was starting to rise. Body composition was not where I wanted it to be at all. All kinds of things. And instead of going down the flog myself back into shape mode, I just sort of calmly said, you know what? This is just the case. This is how I am at this moment in time. This is the truth. And I'm not going to attach any of the past judgment to it.
I think that's a key phrase there is when you move into acceptance, there isn't that overriding judgment around it. It is just, this is the state of things, period.
And I had in mind the idea of like, well, I'd done keto with some success, and I thought, well, I think I just need to go carnivore, because I'd been watching the YouTubes and reading about it. And I'm like, that's got to be the path for me. But I didn't do it from a punishment frame of mind. It was the first time I had ever done that. I mean,
that was huge. It was huge to not do it from a punishment frame of mind. Yeah.
It's totally against the way that I was raised, because my dad would work himself out every single time as if he was punishing himself for every past ice cream cone he'd ever eaten. Mm-hmm. And of course, he would always injure himself and hobble around and blame my mom for having it in the house. So that was modeled for me. So when I went into it, I think I just went straight into triple B and E. I don't remember
you did.
Yeah. Which is beef, bacon, butter, and eggs, which is popularized by Dr. Berry in his channel. And the reason I chose it was partially, obviously it's very restrictive, but because then I wouldn't have to make any decisions, because I didn't have much energy for it. And it was the best thing I ever did. And the results that I got from it were kind of mind-blowing to me. But because I did it from a place of acceptance where judgment resets to zero, everything that happens from here forward, I take ownership and responsibility for. And it's not that I shun the responsibility of everything before. I just said, that doesn't work. I need to do something that works. And what works is not the self-flagellation path. So, like we talked in our last video about how carnivore or low carb is a skill, not a diet. Well, acceptance is a skilled move. And it may not sound like it, but when you can get your mind reframed around that, it is extraordinarily empowering.
Well, I know for me, acceptance came, I've shared that I didn't lose weight for 7 months. And I started with time-restricted eating. and did not see any weight change for 7 months, and really had to come to a place of acceptance. I was a little more skilled at it through my coaching than you were. I'd had experience with it. And it was, okay, I have no control over what my body is doing. I know that it's healing because I saw that reduction in my allergies in 2 weeks. And I'm choosing to focus on that and trust and accept what my body is doing, that it's healing and that the benefits will come. And what's really interesting for me, and this is how our stories kind of converge, is again, I started with time-restricted eating, which did help me psychologically around food and so forth. It was awesome. And I gently came to the conclusion that carnivore was the direction that my body was leading me. But it came through acceptance. Again, it wasn't me trying to force something or make the rapid move to change my weight or anything like that. It was a gentle, graceful transition.
Yeah, there's a very important distinction here, is that acceptance is not letting yourself off the hook.
No.
That's not what it's about. It's about acknowledging what is. Period.
without the judgment.
Without the judgment. It's like, this is the case. The past is completely done. What am I going to do going forward? And I'm not going to go into the future trying to atone for the past. I'm going to go into the future skillfully. And that's the whole mindset change. And it's amazing. We just got done with the Christmas holiday. And we had gone into it knowing that there were certain treats we were going to allow ourselves.
Yep.
For me, one of them was chocolate-covered pretzels. And
it's in your stocking every year.
It is. And the bag of them is still right next to where I sit in the living room. I haven't thrown them away yet.
Wait. The bag is still sitting.
It's still got most of them in it.
This is revolutionary.
Yeah. In the past Christmases, I would have eaten the entire thing regardless of how I felt. I wouldn't even have cared if I was already super stuffed. There was no way I was going to not eat all of my Christmas pretzels. But I had some and I enjoyed it. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. And the following day, the day after Christmas, I already knew I'm not eating any of those things. So it's not even, I don't have to worry about it. But I didn't sit there and go, I hate myself for allowing myself to eat those things. I'm like, no. I was like, I gave myself permission. I did it. I enjoyed the flavor. Today's not that day. Today is today. I accept all of that. I'm moving forward without judgment.
And that's pretty darn skillful.
Yeah. And it works. Yeah. I don't even actually want it because it kind of, I had to take like 2 or 3 Tums, plus drink an Alka-Seltzer before bed. And I was like, not this again. I did this for decades. I don't want to live like this.
But it was, again, not in punishment. It was just it was like an evaluation. Oh, you know what? This isn't working for me. I might choose differently next time. Judgment gone.
My guess is that Christmas future, the ghost, if he came back right now, he'd say, you aren't enjoying your Christmas at all in the future. And I'll be like, aha, but I am, because I'm not having to drink Alka-Seltzer every second. Stupid ghost.
And
you don't even have a stomach.
We are not sponsored by Alka-Seltzer or Tums.
Or Charles Dickens. Clearly. Pretty good story. We saw the play. We saw the musical.
We did.
That was good.
We did for the holiday. It was fun.
What, do we have anything else to talk about on this topic?
I think we've said it.
Should people subscribe to us?
I would love it.
Should they like this video?
We would love it if you would like and subscribe. Do the normal YouTube things. And we'd love it even more if you'd comment. Let us know if you have any questions about this. Let us know if you're like Eric and for 15 years you're like, this is giving up. I don't know what you're saying. You're trying to make a spin on things, but it's just giving up. Or let us know if you agree or have a different angle on acceptance. We'd love to hear from you.
How are you building your skills?
How are you building your skills?